So picture this. You're sitting on the couch, maybe half paying attention to whatever's on the TV.
Yeah.
You're totally relaxed.
Just winding down for the day.
Exactly. And suddenly, your phone buzzes. You glance down at the screen, and you see this exact message. I'm just going to read it here. IRS alert. Your refund has been flagged due to suspicious activity.
Oh, that'll wake you up.
Right. Verify your identity within 24 hours to avoid account suspension. And then, barely a minute later, before you can even really process the first one, a second message arrives.
The double tap.
Yeah, the follow-up. Final notice. Failure to respond may result in delayed processing, penalties, or loss of refund eligibility.
Which is just, designed to make your stomach drop.
Totally. It looks incredibly official, it sounds super urgent, and it is completely designed to make you panic before your logical brain can even boot up.
But the scary truth is that message did not come from the Internal Revenue Service. It came from a scammer. And the really chilling part of this whole scenario today is that there is a very high probability no human being actually wrote it. It was generated by artificial intelligence.
Wow. Okay, so our mission for this deep dive is to give you, the listener, a shortcut to being well-informed on this. This is a very real, very timely threat.
It absolutely is.
We are looking at how artificial intelligence has completely revolutionized tax scams. And more importantly, how you can actually protect your refund and your identity.
Yeah, that's the crucial part.
We're pulling all of this from an incredibly eye-opening alert published by bsecurityaware.com. And they point out that tax scams themselves are nothing new. Criminals have been impersonating the government for decades, right?
Oh, yeah. For as long as taxes have existed, probably.
But the technology has evolved in ways that make the old defensive advice, well, completely obsolete.
Right. We really have to understand how these scammers got so incredibly convincing before we can successfully spot their traps out in the wild.
Makes sense.
Because for years, the standard advice for spotting fraud was to look for the sloppy mistakes.
Like the classic typos.
Exactly. If you got a weird email or text, you were told to look for bad grammar. You looked for strange formatting, blurry logos that looked like they were copied and pasted from some dial-up website.
Or those really obvious misspellings, you know.
Yeah.
Like dear sir or madam with 2 Ds.
Yeah, historically, scammers were operating at volume. They were sending out millions of messages, and they were, frankly, quite careless with the details.
Right. Their emails often came from strings of random letters and numbers.
Exactly. It was relatively easy for a discerning eye to catch those irregularities.
Okay, but wait. I have to challenge this premise just a bit.
Sure.
You're saying AI is writing these texts now, but text scams have existed for over a decade. Why do criminals even need an advanced artificial intelligence to write a 20-word text message that just says, click here to get your refund?
I get that.
It just seems like massive overkill. Scammers have been doing that since the AOL days.
Well, it sounds like overkill until you look at the mechanism of how AI operates at scale. Generative AI doesn't just write a single static template.
Okay, so what does it do?
It synthesizes context. The old scams were essentially a bad mail merge, blasting out generic Dear Citizen letters and just hoping someone clicked.
Like casting a massive net.
Right. But AI operates more like a con artist who has access to your entire digital footprint.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it can ingest data from previous unrelated data breaches. Maybe it pulls your employer's name, your general geographic location, or your filing status.
And it uses all that.
Instantly.
No.
It generates a personalized hook just for you. And it tests thousands of variations of a message simultaneously to see which psychological trigger yields the highest click-through rate.
So it's A/B testing on steroids. It's not just about fixing the grammar. It's about optimizing the actual manipulation.
Exactly. The AI can be prompted to perfectly imitate the official bureaucratic tone of government communications. It seamlessly integrates believable terminology that you would expect to see.
Like what kind of terms?
Phrases like refund delay or tax credit eligibility or account verification. There are no more typos to tip you off. The communication is flawlessly clean.
Okay, so if AI has perfected the grammar, then spotting a typo is completely useless as a defense now.
Pretty much, yeah.
So what is our new baseline for figuring out if an email or text is real?
We have to shift our focus away from the visual flaws. We need to start analyzing how these polished messages are designed to make us feel.
Okay. And the bsecurityaware.com alert highlights the psychology of the scam, specifically 3 human weaknesses these campaigns target with surgical precision.
Right, they know exactly what buttons to push.
And the first one is urgency.
They demand fast movement. Verify now. Final notice. Act before penalties apply.
It's always a rush.
Always.
Hmm.
Because from a neurological standpoint, when you are hit with a sudden urgent demand coupled with a threat, it triggers an amygdala hijack. Your fight or flight response kicks in, and it actually suppresses the critical thinking centers of your prefrontal cortex. You literally stop thinking logically.
Wow, so they are physically hacking your brain's stress response.
Essentially, yes. A panicked target is a compliant target, and the second weakness they exploit feeds right into that panic, which is authority.
Which makes sense because the IRS naturally scares people anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if you've done everything perfectly, getting a message from the government about your money or the threat of legal action is inherently intimidating.
Scammers use that legal language and the looming threat of financial ruin to basically force you into a corner.
And that leads directly into the third vulnerability, which is confusion.
Right. Because the tax system in the United States is incredibly complex and stressful for the average person.
It's a maze. Most people simply do not know the standard operating procedures of the IRS.
Exactly. And that uncertainty creates a massive blind spot that scammers operate within. AI amplifies this because it helps them sound sharper, move faster, and test variations to see what triggers that specific combination of urgency, authority, and confusion.
The numbers in the source material really back up how effective this is, too. A recent report from McAfee notes a staggering statistic.
It's pretty bleak.
Almost 1 in 4 people say that they, or someone they know, has lost money to a tax scam.
1 in 4! That is massive!
It really is. But listen, if I'm totally confused about my taxes and I get a message about a problem, how do I know when the real IRS is texting me?
Well, the short answer is you never will.
Wait, really?
Really. Because the IRS explicitly states they do not initiate contact with taxpayers by email, text message, or social media to request personal or financial information.
Like never.
None. Zero. If the IRS actually needs to reach you regarding a problem with your taxes, they will almost always initiate that contact by sending a formal letter through the U.S. mail.
Okay, that is a massive anchor point to hold on to. No texts, no emails to start a conversation.
Exactly. Keep that in mind always.
So, if we know their psychological playbook, and we know the real IRS won't text us, what do these AI-powered attacks actually look like out in the wild right now? The source outlines specific 2026 attack vectors we need to watch for.
Yeah, and the primary vector right now is what cybersecurity professionals call smishing.
Smishing. SMS phishing.
Right. These are the alarmist texts with a malicious link or a QR code. And when you tap that link, you aren't just taken to a poorly made web page anymore.
Because of the AI.
Exactly. You are taken to a flawlessly replicated, AI-generated fake portal designed to steal your data.
But wait, isn't that what two-factor authentication is supposed to stop? Even if I type my password into a fake IRS portal, shouldn't my phone getting a secure code protect me?
It should, yeah. But the technology running these fake portals has evolved. We're seeing widespread use of proxy servers in these attacks now.
How does that work?
Well, when you log into the fake tax portal, that malicious server is simultaneously logging into the real website using the exact credentials you just typed.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So when the real website sends a two-factor authentication code to your phone, the fake site prompts you to enter it. You type it in, the proxy server passes it to the real site, and suddenly the scammer has intercepted your authenticated session cookie.
They bypass your two-factor authentication entirely.
They aren't just stealing the password, they are stealing the open door.
That is genuinely terrifying.
Yeah.
But there is another vector that the IRS specifically highlighted in their 2026 Dirty Dozen warning list that feels even more intrusive to me.
The phone scams.
The AI-enabled phone scam. The BeSecurityAware.com alert mentions the use of AI robocalls and voice mimicry.
This one is wild. Criminals are using advanced generative audio technology to create voices that sound incredibly human.
Like, they don't sound like robots anymore.
Not at all. They breathe, they pause, they speak with a calm, official, confident cadence. They aren't the static robotic voices we had 5 years ago.
That's creepy.
And the mechanism that makes this so dangerous is how they manipulate the telephone networks to spoof caller ID.
Okay, I've always wondered about this. How does a scammer actually manipulate telecom networks to make Internal Revenue Service appear on my phone screen? Why can't the phone companies just block anyone who isn't the IRS from using that name?
Well, it basically comes down to how the global telephone network was originally architected.
It's an old system.
Very old. The caller ID system relies on an outdated legacy trust protocol. Essentially, the party initiating the call gets to declare what number and name they are calling from to the network.
So it's literally an honor system.
It was built on an honor system decades ago, yes. And while modern protocols are being implemented to authenticate calls, scammers frequently route their traffic through voice-over IP services.
Like internet calling.
Right, and they use international switches that still exploit that legacy loophole. They literally just type Internal Revenue Service and the spoofed number into their dialing software, and your phone's screen displays it as absolute truth.
That's so frustrating. You look at your phone, the caller ID validates the authority, you answer it, and you hear a perfectly professional, human-sounding voice telling you there is a warrant out for your arrest due to unpaid taxes.
It's a complete sensory override.
But criminals aren't just pretending to be the government anymore, are they? The source notes a major pivot in strategy toward credential theft, targeting the tools we use to file.
Yeah, this is the side door approach. Instead of impersonating the IRS directly, which they know some tech-savvy people will immediately flag as suspicious, criminals are impersonating popular tax preparation software platforms.
Or your bank, or e-signature services.
Exactly. The cybersecurity firm Proofpoint noted that in 2026 alone, there have been over 100 distinct tax-themed campaigns involving malware and credential phishing targeting these third-party platforms.
So it's a backdoor attack. They realize the front door IRS disguise might be too obvious, so they sneak in through the side window.
Yep. They pretend to be your trusted tax software sending a routine security update.
You get an email that looks identical to the software you've used for years, asking you to log in to verify a document.
And if you use that proxy server link they provide, they capture your login for your tax software, which leads directly to the most devastating vector.
Tax identity theft.
This is the invisible threat. You don't even have to click a malicious link or answer a spoofed phone call for this to happen.
Wait, how does it happen then?
If a criminal has already acquired your social security number and some basic personal details from a prior data breach, they just log in as you. Or they create a new account in your name and file a fraudulent tax return very early in the season.
They claim a massive refund directed to a burner bank account they control and just vanish.
Gone.
You have absolutely no idea it happened until weeks later when you sit down, try to e-file your legitimate return, and the system kicks it back with an error.
Telling you a return for your social security number has already been filed.
The money is gone, and you are trapped in a bureaucratic nightmare trying to prove to the government that you are the real you.
It is a mess, so we are facing AI-generated text, perfectly spoofed phone numbers, voice mimicry, and fake login pages that bypass security protocols.
It sounds overwhelming. We really need a robust way to fight back.
Yeah.
And thankfully, the BeSecurityAware.com alert lays out a comprehensive 7-point defense plan.
Yes, and the very first step isn't technical at all. It's psychological.
The first step is to slow down. If panic is the bait, our first line of defense is just taking a breath.
Absolutely. When you feel that sudden rush of adrenaline because a text says your account is suspended, that physical reaction is your cue to step back.
Scammers win when they dictate the tempo of the interaction. You have to disconnect their panic button.
So true. Once you slow down, the next operating principle is step 2. Assume unexpected texts and emails are fake.
Just default to fake.
Exactly. If you receive an unsolicited message claiming to be from the IRS or your tax software demanding action, treat it as hostile. We know the IRS does not initiate contact this way.
Right, and if it's from your tax software, step 3 is you do not use their navigation. You go to the source yourself.
Never click the link.
You open a fresh web browser and manually type in the official URL of your tax prep software or the official irs.gov website.
If there is a real problem with your account, it will be flagged on your dashboard when you log in securely through the actual front door.
Not from a link texted to you in the middle of the night.
Exactly. So beyond the mental game and manually typing URLs, we need to look at how to lock down our actual identity.
Which brings us to step 4. The source heavily emphasizes filing early.
Filing your taxes early drastically reduces the window of opportunity for a criminal.
It makes total sense. Filing your taxes early is basically like claiming your seat on a flight.
That's a great way to put it.
Once you're sitting in it, someone else can't show up at the gate with a fake ticket featuring your name and steal your spot. You lock them out of that invisible identity theft scam just by getting there first.
But what if you can't file early? What if you are waiting on complicated forms?
That brings us to step 5, arguably the most powerful technical defense you have, the IRS IPPN.
The National Taxpayer Advocate strongly recommends this for all taxpayers. It stands for Identity Protection Personal Identification Number.
Okay, so how does an IPPIN actually stops someone who already has my Social Security number from filing a return?
It acts as a cryptographic lock on your tax identity. It is a unique 6-digit number assigned to you by the IRS.
Okay.
The IRS's internal systems are programmed with a hard-coded barrier. If an electronically filed tax return is submitted with your Social Security number, but it is missing that specific 6-digit PR, the system automatically rejects the file.
It won't even process it.
Right. Even if a scammer has your Social Security number, your address, your date of birth, and your mother's maiden name, they cannot successfully e-file without that PIN.
Wow.
And to ensure its security, the IRS generates a brand new IPPIN for you every single year.
That is a phenomenal defense mechanism. Everyone needs to go to the IRS website and set that up. So that's step 5. Step 6 is about the payment methods. While the AI might make emails look and sound perfect, the actual mechanism of how the scammer extracts the money often reveals the fraud. We have to watch for nonsensical requests.
Right. The United States government or any legitimate tax preparation software is never going to demand that you resolve a tax debt using retail gift cards.
No Apple gift cards for the IRS.
No, nor will they ask for cryptocurrency transfers or demand you wire money through a peer-to-peer cash app. The financial plumbing of the federal government does not run on gift cards.
If the payment method feels sketchy, regardless of how official the voice on the phone sounds, it is a scam.
Period.
And finally, step 7. When you spot these scams, specifically the smishing texts, you shouldn't just delete them. The source material outlines how we can actively fight back by reporting suspicious messages.
This is so important.
You can forward the scam text to the number 7726, which spells SPAM on your keypad.
Forwarding those texts is a critical piece of collective defense.
What happens when you do that?
Well, if the telecommunication carriers use the data forwarded to 7726 to train their own defensive AI model.
Fighting AI with AI.
Exactly. It helps them identify the malicious numbers, analyze the linguistic patterns of the AI-generated hooks, and block those campaigns across the entire cellular network. You're protecting millions of other people from ever seeing the message.
That's awesome. Let's do a little damage control here, though. Let's say you're listening to this and your stomach just dropped because you got a text like that yesterday, the panic set in, and you click the link.
It happens.
What is the immediate protocol?
First, do not waste a single second beating yourself up. These AI-driven scams are engineered by professionals utilizing massive computational power to be incredibly deceptive.
It happens to highly educated, tech-savvy people every single day.
It does. The absolute priority right now is speed. If you enter a password on a site you now suspect was fake, change that password immediately. And if you reuse that same password on your bank, your email, or any other critical service, you must change those too.
Because they will try that password everywhere.
Without a doubt. If you provided banking details, you need to contact your financial institution's fraud department right this second.
And if you shared your Social Security number?
Then you need to start monitoring your accounts, consider placing a freeze on your credit reports with the major bureaus, and go directly to the official IRS website to access their identity theft and fraud resources. Speed is your best friend when mitigating a compromise.
AI is simply making these old, established cons faster, cheaper to operate, and dangerously believable. It removes the friction for the criminal.
It really does.
We highly encourage you to visit besecurityaware.com. They have a fantastic step-by-step guide on what to do if you've been scammed, and an extensive library of resources to help protect you and your family this tax season. Being proactive is really the only way to stay ahead of this technology.
Being prepared makes all the difference.
Stay sharp out there.